Speed aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. Now get over 130 of your favorite channels in high definition.
And Larry, as we've seen here so many times, if you run enough green flag laps, it seems like the field gets really strung out. Right now, we've almost broken up into two groups. You've got about 2, 4, 6, 8 cars that have broken away from the rest of the pack. I'm kind of curious to see if with this plate and the aero package, if they can chase them back down if they get in line.
Yeah, it almost would take that front group to do a little slicing and dicing and get a little racing side by side, I think, for that group 2 running back down.
Truex the leader, Jeff Gordon second, and Tony Stewart holding station in third.
Mike, when he moved to the Stewart-Haas organization, he had to get a new number, and he couldn't think of a better number than that of his childhood hero, the 4-time Indy 500 champion and 72 winner of the Great American Race, A.J. Foyt. He invited A.J. as his special guest to be on top of the pit box for this dual event and to be here all weekend. Right now, he's watching that 14 car, which A.J. first ran here at Daytona in '83, running in the 3rd position. Smoke says the car is still handling well, no complaints.
Supertex, one of the all-time greats. One Le Mans, one Indianapolis, one Daytona, one everywhere.
I don't reckon if I was Tony Stewart and I could have my hero like A.J. Foyt come and watch me run my first race as a car owner and a driver, I don't guess he'd get any better than that. That man has seen it all right there. He's done it all.
Yes, he has. Yes, he has.
I guess all of us kids that grew up in that era, you know, A.J. was my hero. Red gloves, red bandana, driving those sprints and midgets.
You know, watching Martin Truex Jr. in that one car, this has to be so rewarding for Martin Truex Jr., Kevin Manion, that whole race team. When you look at everything that they went through under scrutiny during the offseason, they had the merger near the end of the calendar year last year with Chip Ganassi, with Felix Sabates. They have the 3 teams. If you go back to the last time we were at Daytona in July, this race team had all kinds of problems. NASCAR confiscated their car in post or pre-qualifying inspection. They suspended the crew chief for 6 weeks, Kevin Manion. They fined them points and money. And to come back here, the next race, the first race of the year, to sit on the pole and be leading this Duel 150, how rewarding it has to be for everybody that's involved with this race team.
So for that #1 team, this is about redemption. Boy, they have done a great job all week long. The front 5 make that the front 6. Show absolutely no signs, and as I say that, here comes Jimmy Johnson to the outside. They were content to run single file. Johnson saw a gap opening up, and he moves from 5th to 4th. But here's where the jostling has been back here.
Yeah, let's take a look. Let's take a look at Joey Logano. Remember when we had the in-car camera here in practice and in the Bud shootout? Remember how he was sawing on the wheel? Let's see how he looks today. He's cranking on the wheel today. The other Saturday night and in practice over here, he was jerking that wheel all over the place. That car is driving much, much better today. We never saw him with his hands that steady in any practice that we've seen. So they have done a good job of settling that car down and making him comfortable.
We're a little past a third of the way through this race, about halfway through a fuel stop. So yeah, this is when those handling problems start showing up. Even though he's busy, he's not near as busy as he was the other day.
And look at him, Larry. He looks relaxed. The other night, he was standing up in his seat almost. Today, he sat back in there, not had a real tight grip on the wheel. I like what I'm seeing with him today.
Matt?
Mike, he is surrounded by veteran experience, not only Mark Robertson, the longtime spotter on this 20 team, but also former NASCAR, now Nationwide Series winner, Mike McLaughlin, kind of acting as his coach over the past year, also on the radio, listening, able to throw in his input if needed.
Martin Truex leads the train here at Daytona, and it's 7 cars long. Then a big gap to a gaggle of cars, which is -1 now, as Mike Skinner in the Mahindra Tractors, number 23, drops down to the apron.
And he had actually moved up quite a bit through the field, started awfully deep in the field. Watching him in practice, we felt like he maybe was a wild card, a long shot to maybe race his way in, but it looks like it will not happen for Mike Skinner.
So So Mike Skinner will likely load up and go home. We'll find out what's happened to his car after this. Bill Elliott has had problems under caution. Did he get hit? Watch, the field's under yellow, all caught up behind the pace car, and Elliott's car takes a sharp right turn, bit of smoke there, and pounds the wall.
Somebody must have run into the back of him, because I mean the car just took an abrupt left-hand turn.
Look at everybody scrambling that was
or
behind
right-hand turn. I'm sorry.
Well, this is a very opportune time, and there you see it. Every one of our competitors on pit road here at lap 26.
Tony Stewart said his car started to get tight right near the end of that run. They're going to fix it with an air pressure change. Jeff Gooch Patterson with the gas can. Scott Radel says they're full. To Dick Berggren.
Joe Nemechek is pitting, but he hasn't got a full-time pit crew, so he borrowed one from Scott Speed. These are all somebody else's guys over the wall. Steve.
Martin Truex Jr. said he was getting loose. He is away. Scott Riggs in the 36 with a makeshift pit crew from Germain Motorsports in the Truck Series. They had a clean pit stop. Jeff Gordon in the 24 is saying, I'm having a hard time keeping this race car on the bottom of the racetrack.
Best we can tell, looks like everybody changed 4 tires, which this was a great opportune time. We're almost halfway through this race.
We'll have to double check the race off pit road as Bill Elliott, look at the damage to the right front of his Wood Brothers Ford, is pushed back to the pit area. Dick, what happened?
Well, Bill Elliott's transmission locked up, Mike, and when it did, it absolutely locked the back wheels, and that spun him out.
Wow.
Wow.
I guess what he was doing, he's probably downshifting because we were under caution, and when he downshifted and maybe let the clutch out, the thing locked up and just spun him into the outside wall.
Now Elliott will be in the Daytona 500. Now a member of the number 27 crew, borrowed from Regan Smith's 78 crew, run into on the pit stop there. A car accelerating out slid sideways and caught him. We'll get an update when we can.
Now, I think there were a lot of issues with Joey Logano's pit stop. This is your riding with Joey coming in here, and I think the first thing that happened, you can see him waving it back. He was across that front line, and you cannot be across that front line if you do go ahead and complete the stop. I guess there were some issues in the ARCA race with Joey last Saturday, so cost this 20 team a lot of time on their pit stop.
And really and truly, he didn't get a chance to make a pit stop in the Budweiser shootout. He had trouble, wrecked.
Oh, you're clear, you're clear. Go, go, go.
So this is only a couple of times he's been on pit road here at Daytona.
Let's go back to Dick Berggren on the Mike Skinner incident.
Well, he ran out of fuel pressure, Mike, and if there's no fuel pressure, there's no engine running either. So Skinner now out of his car.
Now okay, thank you.
But it should not have been out of fuel. It has to be another issue with that car.
Well, I think some of the things we're seeing here with some of these cars is the fact that some of these teams are just kind of all thrown together in a very short period of time.
We're under caution in Daytona in the first Gatorade Duel race.